Hello, everyone. This is Mindset Conversation, Fitness Edition, Episode 1. My name is Rob.
This is Mike. We're here. If you guys listened to the last episode, we we got into a little discussion, if you want to call it that, about squats and glutes. And we kind of mentioned at the end of the episode that we were maybe thinking of actually doing regular episodes about fitness, health, exercise, all of it in general, supplementation, nutrition.
And this will be a shorter but more concise episode where it'll be like me 15, 20 minutes, hopefully.
Yeah, we'll actually have a topic.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll try to stick to topic at least. So,
which is the hardest thing about what we do, at least for us two, is sticking to topic. But we'll try. So today we were thinking, since it's the first episode, and since I've been into fitness since high school, and for the most part, Rob's been into it for a while now too. I mean, I wouldn't say you were super heavy into it in high school.
No. Well, I mean, I did wrestling. So I did all that for 3 or 4 years. Oh, for 4 years. Might have been 3. So I was into that type of thing, but I wasn't into bodybuilding. Well, in wrestling, it's really geared for
weight classes and stuff.
Weight classes, yeah, explosive, and endurance, which is kind of weird because it's like you think those two opposite ends of the spectrum. But you have to last. It takes a lot out of you to wrestle for like a minute, not to even mention 3. So you need endurance, but you also need that explosiveness to when you're shooting in or you're trying to execute a move on the other guy. You need all your strength in that one explosive move. So you kind of need a little bit of both.
Agreed.
But I didn't get really into bodybuilding until after high school. I was really out when watching you specifically, Mike. You kind of got me into it, I remember. So because my parents didn't really have I didn't have a set at home, and I didn't go to the gym at all, and I didn't have no money to go to the gym. So
yeah, I was lucky enough. I had a cousin that mentored me, so I kind of got thrown in right at 16 years old. I mean, I had started earlier because I was a heavier kid. So I had, done the whole, okay, I'm going to be in high school, so I'm going to starve myself and lose 80 pounds. So I didn't exactly do it the right way. But then when I turned 16, my cousin kind of took me under his wing, took me to this place. I'll never forget. It was called Fitness World in Hawthorne, New Jersey.
Yeah.
And it was typical meathead gym. Okay. Not good equipment, no air conditioning. Like the doors were wide open with fans on, stunk. Just big guys, big gals, like nothing like you'd see at, let's say, Planet Fitness. Quite the opposite.
But those are the good. But those are the good gyms, though.
That's what I consider a good gym. Like my studio in my house that I train people out of, I don't like it all bright and shiny and everything. And people are like, "Well, why is it so dark?" I'm like, "That's what I like. That's what I grew up on. Dark, dingy, sweaty, gyms.
Yep.
Where grunting was preferred, not shied against." You know what I mean? Yeah. So from when I was 16, I was introduced to Mr. New Jersey, Mr. Universe. I mean, all these people were there mentoring me and busting me too, because I was the young guy there. So they bust me and tackle me to the floor, getting beat up by like 250-pound bodybuilders. Definitely experience, I'll tell you that. But then you go somewhere like a diner with 6 bodybuilders, you want to talk about, they needed an extra table for all the food.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody was ordering 3 breakfasts. It was amazing to watch. I couldn't even keep up. As much as I'm able to eat, I couldn't keep up with those guys.
Yeah.
So I definitely am lucky enough to have experienced that and be a part of that. So, and I helped out there at the gym a little bit. I get free tans. It was like a tanning place connected right to the gym. So I get like free tanning and all that. So that's really where I really started to take off. And I started going to the shows, met a lot of bodybuilders, read the magazines, watched it, did everything I could. And I'll never forget, what's his name? I don't remember our guidance counselor's name. Do you remember?
It's kind of funny. I will never forget. But what was his name?
I remember the situation, just not his name.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Was it Mr. Cerrone?
Oh, we might have different ones. I think
maybe.
Because I think Cerrone was definitely a guidance counselor, but it wasn't mine.
Yeah. That Mr. Cerrone, by the way, is the one that sat on a thumbtack. Remember I was telling you that story? That was him.
Yeah.
But he said, they take you as a senior and they bring you in and they're like, okay, so what are your plans after graduation? What are you going to do? I'm like, I want to be a trainer. I want to go to college and be a trainer. He's like, oh, okay. I mean, not many people, because a lot of kids go in there, they don't know exactly what they wanted to do. They had some ideas. I'm like, this is what I want to do, and that's it. So, ups and downs through the years. I mean, I've done training, and then I stopped for a while. Then I went back, and now I have my own business. So, it's always been in my blood, and I've definitely had some ups and downs. Because let's face it, we all have issues. So, I've had problems, ups and downs, and stuff through the ages. So I can relate with a lot of people's struggles and stuff. But I was there to see how the health and fitness industry has progressed from back when I was 16, which, geez, 28 years ago?
Yeah.
28 years ago compared to it is now in 2018. And some things are pretty much the same, but there's a lot of things that are different.
Oh, there's a lot of things that are different from over the years. I mean, I guess depending from what time frame you're looking at, but I always like to compare like now the competitors now, and we're strictly talking bodybuilding right now, but this could possibly also be really applied to any other strength sport or whatever, but.
Because really, there was powerlifting and bodybuilding. I mean, back then there wasn't even physique or any of that. There was bodybuilding, men and women's,
right?
Natural, not natural, and then there was powerlifting.
Right.
There wasn't like now you can there's over 65. There's even physique. There's all different kinds of levels of, and there's really not women's bodybuilding anymore. Yeah. Not the big girls. No, now it's more like toned down physique type.
And even powerlifting, it wasn't even popular back then. It was a niche. It was a very specific niche, right? It wasn't as popular. Now it's like everyone's getting into it, and that's like the preferred thing for college people to go into because it's used in football and again in wrestling and you learn early in high school, college. When before it was like you didn't really have these type of programs like Ripito and not saying he's the best, but I'm just saying he's
I would subscribe to some of his things without a doubt.
Yeah, he's definitely knowledgeable, and he definitely. I would say he's probably one of the reasons why powerlifting's popular today. So
the Ripito squat, dude.
Well, his program. What was his program called?
Dude, I can't.
Strong lifts,
something like that. Yeah. And then did you know who Dan John is?
Dan John, no.
Yeah, you should look him up. He wrote a couple books. Another strength guy, conditioning guy. Really good. He's a no hold bar. He's like, every day, carry something, pick something off the ground.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
he'll have a bunch of people over his house. They'll deadlift and squat and do some farmer carries, and then they'll have a big barbecue. So he's that type of he's been in the industry a long time. He's a no frills type of guy. You should definitely look him up. Dan John.
Yeah. Dan John, yeah. It sounds kind of familiar. I just don't remember offhand. So
yeah, I guarantee you came across him at some point. Yeah. There's no doubt. But yeah, and then there was the bodybuilding, but it was a niche too, because it was if you were into lifting, you were into bodybuilding more than even powerlifting at the time.
Right, exactly.
It was all about looking a certain way.
Right.
And then there was the other side of the coin where people are I never want to look like that. That's why I don't want to work out. And that's why for a long time, even to this day, women have this problem with working out. It's I don't want to get big. I'm like, what century are you in? Do you understand there's guys that work out 5-6 days a week that wish they could gain muscle like you think you're going to gain? And they have something called testosterone.
Yeah.
So it always to this day boggles my mind that I still hear that from women.
Yeah.
When it's quite the opposite. If anybody needs resistance training, it's women, especially as they get older.
But I think it's come a long way. I mean, I've seen a lot now, like where women that's popular for women, like college girls to have Instagram accounts where they're just squatting and, well, for obviously reasons, but like squatting or doing
Don't say the G word, dude. Don't say the G word.
Well, what G word?
Glutes.
Or they're doing it's mostly for CrossFit girls, right?
Like, please don't say that either. But we'll get into that. We can probably do a whole episode on that. But go ahead.
But I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that they're getting popular now. Just because of now they know they could get popular and money out of just doing what they do this every day and still keeping healthy and keeping strong. So it's definitely has changed and gotten more popular.
Right, absolutely. And there wasn't as many gyms. I mean, you had the bodybuilding gyms back then, Powerhouse, Golds, stuff like that. And then the only one I'd say was like commercial, and I'm using my hands as quotes for anybody if they listen in the podcast to this, was now and I'm going by Jersey now. Maybe it was different other places, but it was Jack LaLanne.
Yeah. I remember that.
Which became,
was that popular? Like with bodybuilders? I thought that was just like
no, that was popular with you had bodybuilders who went to Golds and Powerhouse and all that, and then if you wanted to work out and you weren't a power lifter or a bodybuilder, Jack LaLanne.
That's where they had the universal machines and
right. Nautilus was the big thing.
Yeah,
which is basically just a circuit of machines. Yeah. But that was the first one, and that's what they were called, Nautilus machines. So, but then you go to Jack LaLanne and you'd have to make an appointment to use a treadmill. You used to have to sign up and wait.
They were that packed? Yep. You're saying? Yeah.
And this is the one, I don't know if you remember, right where 2346 met.
Yeah. Yep, I remember that one. There.
Which then it became what was after that? Was it? I mean, they all wound up being LA Fitness.
Yeah.
But was it something in the interim? Bally's was after that. It went from Jack LaLanne to Bally's to LA Fitness.
All right.
So they were bought out a couple times, but that was really all you had back then. And then some little gyms, like I said, like Fitness World. But that was like a little hole in the wall. That was
yeah. It's right. But those big gyms, right? But those are big, like Jack LaLanne and Bally's and stuff like that. You're right. Those were the ones that were, hey, you don't want to. You got either categorized into like a meathead power bodybuilder or the rest of the people, and the rest of the people were into Jack LaLanne and stuff like that. So
right, exactly. You didn't have many choices, and now I mean, people don't go to gyms for just the weights, because every gym has dumbbells and barbells. Yeah. At least most of them do. I mean, some don't go past 60 pounds, but that's a whole nother episode too. They go for the swimming pool and the racquetball courts and the basketball courts.
That's not bad. I mean, I think depending what you want to use the gym for. I mean, you definitely there's a set of people that just want to just stay in shape, not really to I wouldn't mind just going to a rock climbing gym, right? Like just so I could just rock climb or something like that. So I guess there'll be the same people that would just want to go there to swim or do racquetball.
Right. I still feel as a trainer that everybody, even if it's just 1 to 2 days a week, need to do, especially as you get older, some kind of resistance workout.
True.
1 to 2 days a week. I go be my guest and do more of what you love. Go for it. Without it, I mean, as long as you're safe and you're taking into consideration your age and your what you're able to do and your old injuries and how you feel and you're listening to your body and all that. Go ahead and do whatever you want to do. But I still feel absolute minimum, 1 day of a total body resistance workout at least every week.
No, I agree there. I was actually had a physical a few weeks ago, and that's part of the recommendation is you have cardio and you have strength training. You need both, really. And there's one more thing in there, but I forgot what it was. But those are the top two on there for at least in terms of like physical health.
Right. And as you get older, you need to incorporate again, I don't really. It's not really physical therapy. I don't like calling it that, but it kind of is. It's where you have to like help your body to recoup properly and to keep it healthy. You know, you do the resistance training to get stronger, get your bones thicker. You know, and then you do some cardio to get maybe some endurance. And again, you can get endurance from weightlifting too. I'm just kind of just doing the major things, what most people do cardio for, what most people do weightlifting for. Again, there's HIIT training and all that. So you can combine the two.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that. But you also need, whether it be, again, and I would put it mainly in the active recovery category. So maybe some yoga, maybe some, you're doing, okay, today I don't have a lot of time. You do 20 minutes of stretching and mobility work where you're doing certain motions and you're doing some type of pressure point myofascial release stuff with a roller or a trigger ball or something.
The rollers are definitely popular now because I see a lot of people with rollers now, and that's good, right? Because that's definitely awesome. I mean, I used the roller too when I was powerlifting. It was great. So you
have to.
Yeah.
You have to, dude. You have to. Even if you don't exercise all that much, you have to. Yeah. Basically, the best is, and again, I tell my clients, I want to do this stuff before you work out, and you could do it on your days off too. But the reason for doing it before is like, I use the example of, would you blow a bubble with a piece of gum that you just put in your mouth?
Right,
no,
right.
It's impossible. You have to chew it up and get it all pliable, and then you're able to blow a bubble with it. So it's the same thing with your body. You got to do that. And what the roller does, it has a couple functions. It can kind of roll out the whole muscle, the fascia. It can help hydrate the fat. And again, this can get into a whole side of discussion. I would love to do an episode, if we continue this, just on fascia and what fascia does and why it's important to do the roller and stuff. So I won't get into it now, but so a combination of weightlifting, cardio, things you enjoy, the active recovery stuff, that's what's going to get you long-term health as you get older. Yep. And again, if you're 25 and you want to be a bodybuilder and kill yourself in the gym, do it while you can, bro. But just realize you're not going to be doing it forever. Yeah. Not like that. Yep. Unless you're an outlier. There's outliers out there. But I'm talking about.
But definitely, they're still like even when they're 20. That's a power information, right? Like I think back in the days, it kind of sucked because information was hard to get. Right, at least right information, correct information.
You also didn't have 500 trainers everywhere either, like you do now. Trainers there was a few, and they were the guys working with bodybuilders. They weren't really working with every Tom, Dick, and Harry that came across them, especially all the soccer moms and everybody else. They didn't want anything to do with that. They were doing a deal a meal with Richard Simmons. Right, that's what they were doing. They were doing stuff online. They were buying the Thigh Master and stuff. Remember Suzanne Summers?
Right.
They were doing stuff like that at home. They weren't really going to do that. So you didn't even have a lot of trainers, and the ones that did were teaching you how to be a better bodybuilder.
Yep.
And all the magazines were focused on bodybuilders. So a lot of us grew up doing bodybuilder workouts. Yeah. That's what we did. Even though now thinking back, it's like, well, I probably shouldn't have done them just like they were doing because they were on stuff when they were doing them.
Exactly.
And then you wonder why, and then you sit there like, well, I'm not getting results. Why?
Even so back to my information, that's even proves the information part, right? Like now 20-year-olds they have a lot of information at their fingertips. I mean, they could go a trainer and whatever, and they'll probably, but at least they could do some preliminaries and start to educate themselves, right, about these things. They have all the information at their fingertips. They know they have kind of especially if you go on some of these forums and stuff like that you could see what everyone else is doing, right? Like, you should do a roller, and you can ask for advice as well, right? Like a lot of people.
Which is part of the problem, though, that you mentioned is that everybody's on there showing everybody what to do. And it doesn't necessarily mean.
True, but I would hope at least when it comes to a forum like Reddit, where the bad information gets routed out pretty quickly.
For the most part, I would agree. Yeah.
So you can't just say anything and without someone saying, no, you don't. that doesn't make sense.
But dude, let's face it, you could say the sky is blue and somebody will pipe up and say something.
I mean, there's ways to trick the system for sure, right?
Yeah.
But in general, it's good that the bad information get routed out, and I think the also beauty is that you could ask a question and people will answer it, like, and then whoever has like, well, that's good and bad thing about the hive mind, right? But you could see what most people are doing. Let's say you want to you're having a problem, and a whole bunch of people say, hey, you should try this, and it's like, okay, maybe I should try that first, right?
But you could also do other research. So somebody says, try this.
You could still, you could still look it up. Yeah, exactly. And that's good because and that's why I think a lot of people more into fitness now than before as well. Just like if we had this much information or fingertips back then, like it would have been a way different story. So, but
on the other side of the coin too, I like the fact that it was simpler back then too. You didn't have as many supplement companies around. You had them. Absolutely. But there was like 3 or 4 big ones. And that was it. You know what I mean? And it wasn't like 500 different things telling you they're the best thing. It was protein powders. You had your fat burners. I don't think creatine was huge back then. I don't remember it being huge back when we were in high school.
No, it was mostly like protein stuff.
And
like
fat burners.
That was and fat burners, right? So like creatine, I don't
remember it.
Yeah, I don't remember it being popular back then. So
and multivitamins and single vitamins and B12 obviously was always big and stuff like that. But I mean, not even whatchamacallit back then were big. Fish oil and things like that. I mean, that wasn't even huge back then. It was really simpler back then. So in the sense that it wasn't as confusing back then, it's not for me. I know for the most part, I do my research. I'm talking about the layman, the woman who just decided today I want to lose weight for the first time ever.
Yeah.
I really want to change my life. She'll get bombarded with so many people and things telling her this is the only way to do it. That's what's tough. And there's not enough people saying, you know what, where are you at? And let's take it from there. You know what I mean? It's just like you got to do the Whole30 diet. You got to do the Beachbody workout program. You got to blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's true. There's more programs of that. I think we'll save that for another day, going all over all these different crap and we'll go with that along with the CrossFit. And I'm just saying CrossFit, but just any fads that come up and around. So, but yeah, like I think things a lot changed over the years. Like when you were bringing up, I think you brought up earlier, like you were referring to like steroids and stuff like that, or like they were on something back then. Even that like has changed the landscape. Yeah,
like you got SARMs. You've heard of SARMs before, right?
What's that now?
Nah, that's a whole nother discussion. It's basically this stuff that skates on the legality line. It's not really illegal, but it is illegal, and you're really not supposed to use it, and blah 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 blah. But that's a whole nother discussion. But yeah, there's that, and then there's a simple thing like stackers. Remember stackers? You can go to the Quick Check and buy stackers. Yeah. Now you can't do that because they took the ephedra out, and that was bad.
But now now that like as in terms of bodybuilders, they got things like HGH, and it changes not only like how they work out, but like how they look. I was just reading the other day, like, comparing like someone like Arnold and his generation, like how they look versus now. Like now you got the big guts and stuff like that, and huge legs, and like I think someone made a comment comparing the two, and it's like before they looked like heroes, the bodybuilders looked like heroes. Now they look like the villains.
Yeah. That's a good way of putting it.
Yeah.
I mean, if you go back past Arnold, go to somebody like Steve Reeves.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. He wasn't even as huge as Arnold.
Right.
But he was very symmetrical. He looked good.
Yep.
Now these guys are just huge to be huge.
Yep. It's like you kind of question like where's this? What's the end game to this? What's 10 years from now, 20 years from now? Like, how are they going to look like? they're just gonna look like literally look like the Incredible Hulk, like just like just hulking. Well, I know listeners can't look at it, but like basically just hulking figure, right? So
right, and who knows? Maybe it'll go the way of the dinosaur. Who knows? And it'll be more just because it kind of has come away from the big guys and gone towards, like I said, more physique and natural, and it's like kind of maybe coming back around to
maybe
the Steve Reeves type.
Maybe I guess depending, like I know you don't want to bring it up, but like I know the physique of CrossFitters and stuff like that, because they have to do like the Olympic lifts and stuff. Like,
I chose a few CrossFitters. Let's put it out there. The professional ones and the outliers. Yeah.
I think the ones that don't focus on building muscle, rather they focus on, like, say, building strength or endurance. Then they look the more natural than the bodybuilders.
Right. But there's definitely a lot more people into working out now than ever before. But what's crazy is then why is there a weight problem still? Why is there an unhealthy problem still? Yeah. You know,
well, I think the weight problem is really specific to US. I think outside US, less so. I mean, I'm not saying there's no weight problem. It's just less so.
Right. It's definitely US is one of the big ones. Absolutely. Yeah. I agree. But it's just, I think we've come a long way with it, but a lot of things have stayed the same. But I definitely think, and I'm gonna just say this from a trainer's point of view, it's still really hard to break the mold of a personal trainer just being that guy that yells at you and tells you, like, don't eat this and don't eat that, and it's just somebody to have you lose weight. There's definitely people that's their niche, but that's not everybody. At least in my groups that I follow and I'm a part of, there's a lot of trainers out there that are just trying to get people to be overall healthy and do things for more of a long-lasting, lifelong thing than some 30-day reset or some or some 2-3 month diet that you're not going to be able to do forever. You know.
And speaking of diets too, I guess this goes really quickly before we start wrapping up, but because just this keeps in line of what we're talking about, now versus then. I mean, like, and then it also goes with that information thing. Like, things have changed over the years too. Like, before fats were, you avoid fats at all costs. Now there's this, like,
eat a lot of bread. Eat a lot of bread.
Well, back then, right? So, and then now it's like you got the ketosis diet where you just like, and then low carb diets, or all. There's no such thing as unhealthy fats, right? And then back then, right, just do breads and all should be all carbs. Then now it's like, you should avoid carbs at all costs.
Right, everything was fat free, but guess what? They got to put something in there to make it taste good.
Yep.
Because fat is what tastes good.
Yep.
So you take that out, it's got to be replaced with something.
Yep. Sodium most likely. So, and
sugar.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's like, and that's a health and fitness industry. Whatever you do, don't do this. Okay, you can do it now, but don't do this.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, now it's okay.
Yeah.
But how about this? Nope, can't do that now. But you can go back and do this again. So it's this constant up and down and up and down. And a lot of times, unfortunately, it's to sell stuff to make money. It's a shame, but
I think just people should just start realize that just. Like, moderation is probably key, right? Like, just eat, like that's why they say Mediterranean diet is, well, people in Mediterranean, I won't say Mediterranean diet, but like people in the Mediterranean where they kind of just eat a little bits of this, a little bit of that, a little whatever, everything. That's what it is, man. That's all you need. You need everything. You need fat, you need carbs, you need protein for sure. So,
right, exactly, and that's what it comes out to. They don't sit there and think, did I have my 5th and 6th meal today? Did I have 3 meals with snacks? Right. They don't do that for the most part. They listen to their bodies.
Yep.
And that's it. I'm going to leave it with the diet thing. I wish more people would stop worrying about the recipes and what they're putting in their mouth and concentrate more on why they're doing what they're doing.
Yeah, right.
Why am I eating? Why am I overeating? Why am I not eating enough? Why am I going to this particular food, and why am I not? Why am I starving myself? Why am I throwing up? What makes me feel this way that I'd want to do that? Things like that. I wish people would do a little more introspection, and I can guarantee them that once they do that, as hard as it may be, because it's a lot easier to cut out potato chips and ice cream than it is to dig deep. But I promise you, if you dig deep and really get to the core of it, the rest of it gets a lot easier. Definitely.
Yeah.
But all right, so let's wrap it up there. Guys, we'd like to do something like this once a week. Get a little more content on the channel, and it's something me and Rob both. I mean, I do it for a living, and Rob loves talking about it. Yeah. So
I used to powerlift all the time, but I took some break off, so I'm getting back into it. So this will help me kind of get back in the swing of things as well.
And then you can talk about your journey back too.
Yep.
So. Yep. Then I can talk about things with clients and, obviously not mentioning names, and talk about some situation with clients, past and present. You can give us topics, we'll cover it, ask us questions, we'll cover it. But yeah, we definitely would like to give this a shot.
Yeah.
We really enjoy being a bunch of screw ups on the regular podcast, but we want to let you know that we do have half a brain.
Yeah, too. We are somewhat intelligent. So
yeah, so
and we'll have a did you mention that we'll have a specific topic? We're not just going to be okay.
Yeah. And if they want to give us a topic, we'd be happy to cover. Maybe if we get enough people that enjoy and ask us questions, we'll have episodes where we just answer questions. So
yeah, that's fine.
But
I don't know if we should market our drinking episode on a fitness.
Probably not. Stay tuned on Mindset Conversations social media, and there'll be a video coming up talking about our special episode on Sunday.
Yeah, but
so what?
Keep in mind this is separate from fitness.
Yes,
fitness episode,
which again is teaching balance. You can have balance in life. You're only on this earth a short time. Make the best of it. 80% good.
Yeah.
Screw up the other 20% and enjoy it.
Yep.
But thanks, guys. Hope you enjoy it, and we'll see you on the podcast on Monday.
Take it easy, guys.
Or Sunday. Sorry.
Sunday. Oh, Sunday.
All right. Bye, guys.
All right, take it easy. Bye.